Hi, it's Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com, a free site, bettingangle.us, a free site. Remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. Let's talk Vergil Ortiz versus Eimantis Stanionis. Understand, Ortiz, to me, is one of the most promising young fighters in the entire sport. Right? Whatever the age of the fighter, understand Ortiz has one of the best jabs in the entire sport of boxing. He's really a blessed jabber. Let me point out, too, that Ortiz has a withering body attack. He hits with power, right? And his defense is above average. This is a very tough opponent. I privately call him Secretariat. Now, all of that said, and Ortiz, I believe, is even better than advertised. I saw an amateur fight between him and Ryan Garcia. I have no idea what fight the judges were watching. I thought Ortiz clearly won that fight. In other words, Ortiz can actually decrease an opponent's hand speed. Ortiz also is defensively blessed enough to know when he's in with an elite left hooker, a hair trigger left hooker, Ortiz knows how to duck under that left hook, right? In other words, he's conscious of where he is in the ring. As I said, he's above average defensively. Now, all of that said, the odds matter. The water is extremely deep at 147 pounds. One of the men who make it deep is Eimantis Stanionis. I cannot believe that the casino right now is giving you a plus 300 on Stanionis, who also is one of the more promising young fighters in the entire sport. Folks, as highly as I regard Vergil Ortiz, and I regard him highly, the bet I like here, and I need for people to think for themselves, do their own research, is to take Stanionis at the plus 300. Right? Because quite frankly, he has at least a 40% chance of winning this fight. He should not be going off at higher than a plus 150. Right? I believe the public is lagging the reality here in terms of Stanionis' style. I want you to think of Errol Spence. In other words, this is a guy who backs you up. He's on his front foot. He has a defensive construct, so you can't get through his defense as he's coming forward on his front foot. He's blessed in that he can pivot his body, just like Errol Spence, to get leverage on extremely short hooks. Understand, too, both of these guys, Ortiz and Stanionis, are magnificent throwing left hooks to the body. Right? So as Stanionis comes in, he's able to stand you up and then take away your body. Of course, these guys are blessed hookers, so as they're throwing the hook, you can't be sure if it's a body shot or if they're going to turn over the punch and hit you in the head. Now, I expect Ortiz to win the fight because that's what a great jab does for you. Right? He should be able to hit Stanionis on the way in. Right? He should. And of course, with a jab like this, think Carlos Monzon. This is a power jab. as Sergio Mora calls it. With a jab like this, he might as well be throwing a right cross, right? It's a power shot. You simply cannot take too many of these jabs, right? So I'm expecting Ortiz to realize he can't back up to the ropes because this is an Errol Spence guy. Positioning is crucial, right? It's crucial. You don't want to be pinned by a guy who knows what he's doing on his front foot and who can throw short punches and who has figured out the angles where he can tuck his head off at the side and know you can't hit him at that angle, right? So Ortiz needs to be around the middle of the ring. He needs to use lateral movement, not go straight back. But as Stanionis is trying to come forward, he needs to move laterally, and he needs to make sure he always has enough room to throw that jab. But I need for people to realize that prospects in this sport get toppled more often than you think, right? The guy who beat Shakur Stevenson in the Olympics lost a match early in his career to a journeyman because styles make fights, right? He couldn't avoid getting hit with power shots in that matchup. I need for people to understand that while I praise certain prospects here, I recognize that these are shark-infested waters. That some of the other guys in the division are very tough, right? Stanionis, I know I've been mispronouncing his name. Stanionis was a decorated amateur. Represented his country in the Olympics. Has a share of the title at 147. Understand, 147, the water's so deep that I personally believe Terence Crawford's going to have an easier time with Errol Spence than he would have with Vergil Ortiz. Understand, Mean Machine dropped both Crawford and Ortiz when he fought them. They got off the canvas, went on to win the fight, went on to stop Mean Machine. But understand, Mean Machine's out there. Stanionis, we'll call him Eimantis. Eimantis is out there. He's dangerous. Since the public is blinded by the celebrity of Terence Crawford and Errol Spence, since it's not thinking of Boots Ennis, another guy at 147 who, quite frankly, would give both Spence and Crawford problems, right? Since the public is being distracted away from the deep talent reservoir at 147, there's an opportunity here for gamblers like you and me. This bet makes itself. While I expect Ortiz to win the fight, I believe the way to play this is to take the underdog at plus 300, hedged with the prop that the fight doesn't go the distance, right? Both of these guys hit awfully hard, right? Eimantis is going to try to collapse the pocket. Nobody's going to be running in this fight. Heavy punches are going to be landed. But I need for you to understand the risk involved. If Ortiz wins the fight by decision, you lose it all. Right? We're simply taking the KO prop to be in play, right? Given the power punching of both fighters, given the tenacity of both fighters, right? The real play here is a swing for the fences on the underdog, a very live underdog at plus 300. I like Eimantis here, plus 300. I'll hedge the play with the fight not going the distance, right? I expect Ortiz to win. But the odds here are skewed. And I believe the way you make money is by taking advantage of the gap in what the public thinks and what's really going on. What's really going on here is Ortiz is in a tough fight. I don't think Boots Ennis has ever fought anyone as tough as Eimantis. Right? I believe Eimantis would hold his own against both Crawford and Errol Spence. Right? This is a live fight. This is a live underdog. Don't overlook it. Ortiz is highly regarded. He deserves to be highly regarded. The guy he's fighting should be highly regarded. The plus 300 is a joke. I'll grab the plus 300. I'll be the casino's Huckleberry here. I'll grab the plus 300. The hedge is that the fight doesn't go the distance. Understand, these bets can blow up on you. I lost on the Big Baby fight. There I had a plus 800 on Charles Martin. My hedge was that that fight wasn't going to make it to the distance, and it did. Right? It did. So just understand there is risk involved. Be forewarned. That's how I see this fight. Let me hear from you. I hope you leave your comments in the comment section of this YouTube video. Thanks for stopping by.